It's just very telling to me, and we'll see this as we go on, what a guardian of secrets Priscilla is. Even the most trivial, minute things, her accounts are always, well, not always, but they seem to a lot of the time be at odds with other people's recollection of events. It's like recollections may vary. Yeah, okay. That must have been a really, really strong and sharp memory for all of them if they're all like, yep, sounds exactly like Priscilla's mother. Pricilla and all the Beaulieus would reconstruct history, claiming that Anne disapproved of Elvis Presley before Priscilla started seeing him. More secrets, lies, and cover-ups in the house of hidden truths. So moving on, we're going to go into chapter 5, and this one is called Stage Mother. Priscilla reached her golden pinnacle in Austin the fall of the 6th grade when she was 11 going on 12. For the first time in her life, Priscilla had a best girlfriend. Pam and Priscilla were one word. They were the stars of the 6th grade, the two prettiest, most popular girls at Popham Elementary. Priscilla was beginning to explore her sexuality. She was part of a group of self-described risque 6th grade girls and older boys who met regularly by a trailer in classmate Linda Williams' side yard for spin the bottle sessions. Sometimes, confided Calvert White, a beau of Priscilla's, we would be on the school bus, and the kids used to hide down behind the seats and kiss her. Well, I would say she was just a little old sex pot, remarked Drew Fedori, a 6th grade football player Priscilla had a crush on. By spring, however, Priscilla had caught the eye of an older boy, Jack Edwardson. By summer, Priscilla and Jack were dating. You know how things are at that age. You might think that it's something serious, but it's not. We were both too young. Spin the Bottle and Carless Dates could not compete with Priscilla's growing fantasies of Elvis, though. She and Pam continued to play Imagine If all through the 6th grade. She set her cap for the self-described tough guy of the 6th grade, Drew Ferradori. To his surprise, Priscilla boldly walked up to him one day, told him he looked like Elvis Presley, and asked him on a date. She was outspoken and flirty, Drew said. Priscilla gave Drew signed pictures of herself, and we held hands and kissed a few times. According to Drew, Priscilla was most definitely the aggressor, and the author took pains to put the words most definitely in italics in the book. Mike Hodnett, another of Priscilla's 6th grade beaus, also remembered Priscilla as, quote, determined. Anne Beaulieu was promoting Priscilla at every turn. Called Carol Ann, a friend of Priscilla and Pam's. I always felt like her mother had a plan for her. Her mother was really pushing her. These dynamics began to foster competition between Priscilla and Pam. We were best friends and rivals at the same time, Pam explained. The instigator, according to members of their clique and Pam herself, was Priscilla's mother. I think there never would have been a bit of rivalry between us if it hadn't been brought to the front by Anne, Pam once said. How unbelievably sad to have a mom that is going to do that to you and your friends. I don't know about this. ETA sponsored a fundraising contest for King and Queen of the Popham Halloween Carnival, with the winners determined by which candidate accumulated the most votes, at a penny a vote to be collected in a jar kept in the principal's office. The contest evolved into a cutthroat race between Pam and Priscilla. The girls' friendship was severely strained. By their own recollection and that of friends, I considered quitting, Priscilla would later write, but I felt I couldn't let my parents or my supporters down. Priscilla's classmates, however, drew the line at that. She wouldn't have quit on a bet, claimed Christine. I mean, and how sad is all of this when you think about it, that Priscilla's parents, and particularly her mom, are, forging this wedge between Priscilla and Pam, who, by all accounts, is one of Priscilla's only true friends that she's ever made in her young child life, to have Anne's ambitions just drive that wedge. I just keep saying how sad and heartbreaking, but it really is. Priscilla later insisted that she was certain she was going to lose, but a classmate warned the Rutherfords that Priscilla was going to win because her grandparents, Anne's parents, had sent a $40 check to her campaign. When the big night arrived, it was Pricilla Beaulieu who was crowned queen when Priscilla wrote about the contest in her own autobiography. That was an Elvis in me. Priscilla claimed it was she who heard a rumor that Pam's grandparents had put in a $100 bill for their vote. It's so silly now because we're 50 years old, and who cares, Pam remarked after Elvis and Me came out. She relates the same story, only in reverse. And I thought, geez, how could she get that so mixed up? Priscilla would later attribute the mix-up to misinformation from another girl. So you see there, so Pam and everyone that the author, Suzanne, is interviewing about, this little 6th grade carnival says that, no, the rumor was that, Priscilla's maternal grandparents had put that $40 check into the fund to garner more votes. And Priscilla in her memoir is saying, oh no, it was Pam's family that put in $100. And years later, Pam's like, okay, sure. Very interesting. It's just very telling to me, and we'll see this as we go on, what a guardian of secrets Priscilla is. Even the most trivial, minute things, her accounts are always, well, not always, but they seem to a lot of the time be at odds with other people's recollection of events. It's like recollections may vary. This would have been very typical of Priscilla's mother, remarked Christine Laws. What was important was looks and appearance. Many mothers live vicariously through their daughters, and she did. So this is a childhood friend of Priscilla recounting this years and years later when they're all in their 50s. So that must have been a really, really strong and sharp memory for all of them if they're all like, yep, sounds exactly like Priscilla's mother. Okay, Priscilla's sense of destiny returned, more powerful than before. Someone would ask me, what are you going to do in life? And I just remember that I had this incredible feeling that whatever it was going to be, it was going to create a very big effect. Just as Pricilla Beaulieu was being elected Carnival Queen, Elvis Presley was labeled the King of Rock and Roll. She and Pam went on a double date to see her idol in Love Me Tender at the Base Theater. Priscilla's date was her current beau, 7th grader Larry Powell. Pam and Priscilla, he remembered, were hysterical over seeing Elvis on the screen. She was definitely screaming, Larry recalled of Priscilla, standing up and hollering. Both girls scrutinized Debra Paget, who was Elvis's co-star. Priscilla was simply sizing up the competition. Errol Wilson quoted Elvis in Photoplay that January of 1957, describing Paget as the most beautiful girl in the world. The real story has never been told until now. According to Debra Paget, she and Elvis Presley fell in love. And in Love Me Tender, Debra Paget, the young Debra Paget, she is so unbelievably beautiful. But when you watch her, think of Priscilla because they look strikingly similar, okay? So Elvis is quoted in this Photoplay magazine back in early 1957, describing Debra as the most beautiful girl in the world. So he definitely was infatuated with her. She, meaning Debra Paget, was a very young 22 and extremely shy, and she found Elvis to be a very sweet, unassuming, fun, and kind person. Debra's parents, particularly her mother, who dominated her life and her career, refused to allow Debra to date Elvis, a side effect of his reputation as a rock and roll rebel. Like him, she had a close, intense relationship with her mother, a heavy-set, formidable woman who physically resembled Elvis's own mother. These similarities may have marked the beginning of Elvis's obsession with physical resemblances between people close to him, an understandable preoccupation in a surviving twin, as he was. Elvis was a twin. His older brother was born Jesse Garin, and unfortunately he was stillborn. And Elvis was born second. So Elvis was a twin. A lot of people don't know that, but he was. Debra Paget offered more than a pretty face. She was also very religious. And more importantly, she was a virgin. This combination was perfection. He'd always said he'd marry a virgin, recalled Debra. And maybe that's why he said he'd marry me, because his mama always told him to marry a virgin. Had my parents not objected, she related, I would have gone ahead. I thought a great deal of him. Because her mother was so opposed to Elvis, Debra kept her feelings to herself, and even from Elvis. Before he went into the army, sometime in late 1956 or early 1957, he called Debra from El Paso and asked her to marry him. Debra told him it wasn't possible. "I know it's your mother and father," she remembered Elvis saying, "and if it takes 20 years, I'll get them to like me." "I knew it was hopeless," Debra recalled. Elvis could not get Debra Paget out of his system. Debra Paget's version of the tale is both romantic and sad. Just before Debra's mother died, she confessed her regrets to her daughter. She said she wouldn't have stopped me if she'd known I felt so strongly. But by then, it was too late. Both Debra and Elvis had married other people. The actress kept the truth to herself, even after Elvis died. There was no need to tell others, Debra explained. "I've always felt it was private." That is very, very admirable in today's culture. It's just really nice and quaint, isn't it? It's nice. Priscilla Beaulieu did not know the intimacies of Elvis Presley's relationship with Debra Paget when she saw Love Me Tender. She only knew that Elvis was smitten with the actress, and if Elvis fancied her, Priscilla wanted to see more of her. If she had a goal, Priscilla could move mountains. Priscilla was not the only female in the Beaulieu household who had a crush on Elvis Presley. As soon as Love Me Tender hit the marquee, Anne Beaulieu was on the phone with Dora Keene saying, "Let's go see Elvis." It was her idea, recalled Dora Keene. Anne was a big Elvis fan. For reasons that would soon become clear, Priscilla and all the Beaulieus would reconstruct history, claiming that Anne disapproved of Elvis Presley before Priscilla started seeing him. More secrets, lies, and cover-ups in the House of Hidden Truths. So that is the end of chapter 5. The next chapter we're going to be reading from Child Bride is going to be called Secrets Revealed. Let me know what you guys think about these two chapters down in the comments below. What do you think about what the author is talking about in the book? About how Priscilla was a massive Elvis fan, head over heels in love with him before she even met him. And what do you think about the fact that it seems like her mother was too? So all very, very interesting. So I can't wait to see you guys back for the next chapter, chapter 6, called Secrets Revealed. If you want to get caught up on any episodes from Child Bride that you may have missed, I will have them linked down in the description of this video for you. Please like the video, share the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will talk to you very soon. See you on the next one. Bye.